Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy last Sunday of June. We're like halfway through 2025. Unbelievable. Good morning. Let me see. My name is Tina Bickford. I am the Tatted Stamper. Welcome to my craft room. How is everybody doing? If you're watching live, go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know. Say hello. Say hello. Tell me where you're watching from. And tell me what the weather's like. It's gorgeous. It's going to be gorgeous, nice and warm and sunny here today. So yay. Good morning, Louise. How are you? Um, let's see. Good morning, Mom. Dad watching? Morning, Dad. If you're watching, good morning, Dad. Um, Yeah, Sandra, hello from Oklahoma. Welcome. Thank you for joining. How has everybody's week been? This has been a really busy week. My day job, my actual day job was very, very busy this week. So, um yeah, it's been kind of crazy. And I had a few custom cards that I needed to make for some friends. So I got those all made, and it was a little bit of a challenge. 5 of them had to be masculine cards, and I don't know why, but masculine cards are just really hard. So yeah, yeah, other than that, my week's been going pretty good. Just busy. So let me see. Lisa, thank you for joining. Yay. Oh, balmy 90 degrees. You rubbing it in? You're rubbing it in. It's going to be like 90 tomorrow up here, but it's all right. It's all right. I'll take it. It's gonna be nice today. So when I'm done doing this video, I think I'm gonna do a little bit of quick cleaning around the house. And well, I don't know how many of you are like I'm gonna craft before I clean. So that's just that's what I'm doing. If I have the choice, I'm gonna craft. I'm not gonna clean. So I'm gonna clean a little bit, and then I'm gonna sit outside by the pool on the deck and just kind of chill. So yeah, that's I guess what my plan is for today. So actually, you can't really. I'm going to try to point to them here. This little pile right here of cards that I'm collecting. So I am part of a birthday card club for my upline, Susan Campfield, and some of her demonstrators. And there's 18 of us. 18 of us. And so my birthday is actually this coming week. It is on Thursday. So I am starting to get all of these great birthday cards. When I get them all, I'm going to share them all with you so you can see them. Some of them are just really very cute and love them. Love them. Lots of inspiration getting them. So I love getting my happy mail. So I'll share all of those with you as soon as I get all of them, so you can see them all at the same time. Do I have anything else that I wanted to share? Um, I don't think so. I mean, so tomorrow is the end of Stampin' Up sale, the buy one get one half off for the sweet sale. If any of you haven't taken advantage of that, you should. Thank you, Louise. Thank you. Yeah, so yeah, I'm a July 3rd baby. So, right before the 4th of July. And it's all good. It means I get to take the day off of work for my birthday and have an extra long weekend. So yay, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so let me switch down to the desk camera so you guys can see what is going on today. Did any of you, by the way, thank you, Debbie. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. So did any of you catch either my post on YouTube or Facebook where I actually gave you all of the supplies and the dimensions? And are you crafting with me today? Going to make this card with me today? Let me know. Let me know. I'm going to switch down to the desk. Clean. Sandra cleans first so she doesn't feel guilty about crafting. And her birthday is July 20th. Yay. Well, happy early. Well, I'm sure I'll see you. I'll talk to you before then, but just in case I forget, happy early birthday to you too. July birthdays are great, aren't they? I think it's probably one of the reasons I'm a summer girl. I love the hot weather and all of that because, you know, it's my birthday. So, all right, so just as kind of a quick reminder, this is what we made. This is the card we made last year and last year, last week, last Sunday. And this actually was my inspiration for the card we're going to make today. This was our box step card. And I mean, you all know I ripped the paper up here and had to cover it with my sentiment. And then I glued this on too far to the top, and I overhung my flower. So I needed to make a custom envelope for that. Good thing I have a bunch of retired Stampin' Up 12 by 12 designer series paper. I was able to make this really quick and simple envelope. Love it. It fits in there perfectly, like so. And I made this one. This is the one, my sample one that I showed you. I did the same darn thing on. It's got all of that beautiful embossing on there, like that. And I made that. So this is the same thing. This is a little bit of glue on there. This is old Stampin' Up paper. This is actually Pretty in Pink. So I did just a little bit different design there on this envelope, but did that one. And then this is actually the box step card that I did when I did the project sheet. So I did this one. And we put that, remember we put this little piece in here to kind of hide that little seam, just because I just don't like that. Now, when the paper, the cardstock and the dimensions that I gave you guys, I did not include that little piece, but I will give you the dimensions for that when we make the card today, because I will include it in the project sheet I do for this card. But I'll include it because I did include it. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 alternates that I want to show you too. Yay. All right. So put those aside. Oops. And let's get started. So I'm going to pull out all of the, I obviously already cut everything here. So this is our card base. Our card base is 4 1/4. That's a standard width. So 4 1/4 by 9 3/4. So a little bit different from the box step. And then we had this piece, I did blueberry bushel on for mine. And this piece is 5 3/4 by 2 inches. So 5 3/4 here, 2 inches here, obviously, right? Now I will say I have a little post-it here that I want to trim 1/16 of an inch off of this. And I'll show you why. I did not do that on my some of my samples. The sample that I used the blueberry bushel for, and I didn't like the way that it fit over one part of the card. So I'm going to trim 1/16 of an inch off of this. So there's that piece. And then we had some other, this is the white piece that we're going to fit on the inside. So this is, let me give you the dimensions for this. This one is 4 1/8 by 1 7/8. Okay. That one there. And then I just had this piece of white cardstock. We're going to stamp on this. So this is just 3 inches by 3.5 inches. It's enough to fit my sailboat stamp. And then we have our designer series paper. So the one that I'm using this is an old paper. It's called Meandering Meadows, but I thought it looked like clouds in the sky. So I'm using this one. It's actually, if you look at the back side of it, it's decorative. It's a whole scene, but I liked this side, for this card. And I am keeping them in order for where my pattern is. So I want it to look like a continuous pattern. So the dimensions for the designer series paper, they're all 4 1/8 this way. And then this first piece is 1 7/8. The second piece is 1 1/8. And this third piece, or last piece, is 2 1/8 inches wide. Okay, so let's get to making this card. All right, let me just first trim that 1/16 of an inch off of my blueberry bushel while I'm thinking of it. So we have, it is, what did I say it was? 5 3/4. So I'm just going to and whenever I trim little tiny pieces like 1/16, even 1/8, I go really slow with my blade just to make sure that it's not gonna, fray or anything like that. So that's all, just 1/16. I just cut that off. Okay. And just set that aside. So let's score our card base. So with the 9 3/4 inch side at the top, we're going to score exactly the way that we scored that box step last week. We're going to score at 1 inch. We're going to score at 2 1/4 inches, 4 1/4 inches, and then 5 1/2. 5 1/2 there. All right. And then set that aside. We are going to just give all of these a really good burnish. Now, when I'm doing these, when I'm trying to make that box, because we're going to be making a box over here like we did the box step, I'm going to fold it, and you can start from this score line or the 5 1/2 inch. I just start with a 5 1/2. I'm folding it in half, and I'm making sure that it's nice and even on the edges, because then I know that my score line is straight and my box will fold nicely, nice and even. So I'm just, same thing. I'm just pulling them. I'm just checking these sides to make sure I'm nice and straight. Because sometimes if your cardstock is just a little bit twisted in your paper trimmer, you could make a score line that is just off just enough to make this not fold properly. So I'm just looking and making sure both of those sides are lined up, and there we go. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. And what we're going to do is I'm going to just fold this up on the, so we did 1 inch, 2 1/4, 4 1/4, and then 5 1/2. I'm actually going to fold this in half on that 4 1/4, just like that, so that you can see. And I'm going to put my Stampin' Seal on this last tab. And I'm not going to be I'm not worried about covering all the whole thing from, tip to tail and everything else, because we're going to be putting this piece in to cover that anyway. So I'm not going to worry about that. Just enough to keep the card. So with this folded, and I'm holding at that 4 1/4 inch, I'm just going to tuck this last 1 inch section back, just like that, and press, and that's it. Now your card should fold nice and easy back and forth like that, giving you that box. Okay. Now I'm going to set that aside. We are going to do some embossing. Let's see what I want to, I'm using the Sunrise Sailing hybrid embossing folder, and we're going to emboss this blueberry bushel. And this is a 3D. So let me just clear some mess out of here. Like so. Bring my machine in. So for 3D, we need our plate 1 and our plate 4, and that's all we need. So I'm going to take this blueberry bushel, the whole thing, and I want it to be positioned so that I'm embossing with just this water that's down here. Like so. Now this one, this this blueberry bushel, the cardstock is pretty thick, so this worked fine. You could put a second layer. So if you wanted, this would be your, and I'll explain when I get to the next step. So this part is going to, we're going to emboss it. And then we're just kind of going to put some score lines in it. Now, when you emboss cardstock, you do break the fibers just a little bit, like when you score it, when you emboss it. So it could, depending on the weight of the cardstock, it could make it a little bit thinner. And I'll show you with one of my, did I do that with one of, no, I used an extra layer for my other one. So if you wanted to do this, where you wanted this panel to be your part of your card base, and you wanted to put embossed panels on top of it, you could. You would just have to cut a second piece and then cut it down to the different sections. And I'll show you what I mean when I get there, that next step. So I'm just going to do this. Put mine in my fold of my embossing folder first. Now, I will tell you, I don't have any issue putting my embossing folder in this way where the fold is to the side. You just don't want to put it in this way where the opening is first. And the reason is it squeezes. This uses pressure, so it squeezes down on your embossing folder. And because this is the folded edge, it squeezes all of the pressure there, and it actually will buckle your embossing folder. It is only plastic, by the way. All right, so I'm just going to put my plate 4 on there. Excuse me. And roll that through. Let's set that aside and pull this out. Water, instant water. All right. So then what I did here is I'm going to score this piece. And I know I'm scoring embossed cardstock. I know it's crazy, but that's just how I roll. So I'm going to score. When I score my embossed cardstock, what I have found is I don't put a lot of pressure on my scoring blade, but I go back quite a few times. It makes that nice score line, but I'm not going to rip my cardstock. So I'm going to score it at 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch. And just nice and light, little bit of pressure, back and forth. And there we go. So move that. So we have just that little bend there. I want this to be a continuous, I wanted it to be, because it's water for this particular pattern, I wanted it to be that continuous embossed pattern all the way around the edge, like a waterfall edge. So I'm just going to pinch. I'm not going to burnish because I don't want to flatten out that embossing. So I'm just going to pinch just like that. So now you have this piece here, like so. And we're going to bring our card base back in now. So this piece is going to go on the bottom here. The way we're going to line this up, this little 1/4 inch section here is going to line up the fold with the edge and the edge with the bottom. So it's going to be tucked right in that corner. However you want to do this, you can use your multi-purpose glue. You can use tear and tape, whatever is easiest for you. My multi-purpose glue is on my desk, so that is what I'm using. So I'm just going to do a little bit there. And you can line this up however you're comfortable. If you're comfortable lining it up with the score line and, so you can see that, do that. If you're more comfortable flipping this back and lining it up this way, do that. The only thing you want to make sure is that you are straight at the bottom here also. And you are on the edge. There you go. Oops, move that. So with the liquid glue, you do have that little wiggle room, which I needed just there. Okay. Now, this will not go all the way to the edge. That's because I cut that 1/16 of an inch off, and you'll see why. All right, so let's grab now our designer series paper. So our designer series paper, I'm going to flip this over, get that out of the way. And our designer series paper is going to go like this on our card. I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal. Now I didn't do it this way for, I think, a couple of my cards because I wasn't thinking, but I didn't like that little blue tab, that I could see that little 1/4 inch blue tab. So I want to hide that, like we're going to hide that little piece in there. So I'm just going to use my designer series paper to hide that. So just nice and even border on all 4 sides, and that will hide. It doesn't hide the whole thing, obviously, but it hides most of it, and it doesn't look so unsightly. So we'll just add our other pieces of designer series paper now. Here, this little section. And I'm just doing the same thing. I'm leaving nice, even 1/16 of an inch border around all sides. And I am calling this the, what did I call it? The pillar box step card. I don't know if anyone has done this before. I will say that. I just know that this kind of, you know, I looked at that, my box step card, and I thought, hey, that, if we can do that in a vertical, we can do that in a horizontal. So I flipped it over sideways. Let me just show you. What did I do with it? So the card is this way normally. And I just said, well, let's just do it this way. And you could totally do just a horizontal box step card like this and just flip it up so that it stands like this. You could totally do that so that you don't have this, you know, so that it's in the bottom. It looks like this section is kind of floating. So you can do that. That's one of the things I love about this fun fold, is that it can be either way. This one will be able to do this one, and you can do this one either way too. Basically, all we're doing is we're moving this piece, this step, right to the bottom. So we're going to take this now. I'm going to add my Stampin' Seal to the very end here. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add on this section of this pop up right here. I'm going to add a little bit on this section. Now, the easiest way for me to see that is to fold it over. I'm just going to fold it all the way over, get it closer to here so that I can see, and I can put my finger here and I can just see exactly where I can put that adhesive. So I'm not going to go beyond that. Okay. So I have adhesive here on the very end, and I have adhesive here on this side. Fold your card flat. And then at that 1/4 inch, right at that 1/4 inch, we're going to fold this right over, and it's going to meet. This is why I cut the 1/16 off, because now that, I know that's hard to see, now this blueberry bushel lines up with the edge of our designer series paper. On my sample card, and I'll show you, I didn't do that, and it went right to the edge. And so it looked, to me, it looked kind of off because that blue went beyond. It didn't look like I had that nice white frame around the card anymore. So you should be able to flip your card from side to side like this now. Like this. Hello, Lynn from Southern New Jersey. Welcome. Welcome. Are you crafting along with me? Okay. So we have our card now like that. That's how it's going to stand. So same thing. You could, if you designed this card so that you wanted it to be vertical, you could do this and put whatever your elements are, your front card elements, you could put those right on that also. And it would just stand like that. Okay. I am going to, oh, the one last thing that I wanted to do here is this is our little, the little piece we're going to put in here to hide. So I thought, how cute would it be? I know you're not really going to see it, but how cute would it be for us to lean into the clouds that are in this embossing folder? Because I don't want it to be just plain. You could do it just plain and it would hide that, but I wanted to kind of lean into that. So I'm just going to come over. You can do either side, whichever one you want, and you're going to get a little bit of the water down here, and you're going to get the clouds up here. Let's do this side. And I'm just going to roll that through. You guys don't need to watch me do that, but I will roll that through. Same sandwich, just the base and plate 4. Like so. And we're just getting that, just that little tiny bit of detail right there. So we're going to just plug that in there. I am going to use my liquid glue because it'll give me a little bit of wiggle room, and I'm just going to kind of put it all over because this embossing, those clouds are pretty deep. That embossing is pretty deep. And I'm just going to make sure I put it in and get that so that I've got some nice even space from top to bottom. My embossing or any of that. I just want to make sure that we are that we're not going to glue our card shut by being, you know. Okay, so there we go. All right, nice, like so. And we have that, so you can see just that little bit of cloud detail in there. I thought that was just kind of cool. Okay, so let's get to some stamping. I am going to take my stamp from this set. I want the sailboat. We're going to take that sailboat. And I'm just going to lay that down and plop that on my block. And I am using Secret Sea. I am using, it froze for a second. Yeah, you know, is it okay now, Mom? Because it just did something weird and I had to maximize my window again. Is it good now? Okay, so I'm just going to stamp here on my little piece of paper here, like so. My little cardstock. Good, thank you, Mom. Thank you for saying that it's better. I don't know what that was. I don't know if it's because I shook my table. I don't know what it was. All right, so now I'm just going to grab a couple of the other elements. Now what I'm getting this one here, which is, it kind of fills in the boat, but I want a piece of scrap paper. I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap cardstock here because I'm going to stamp off to get some of that ink off and make it a little bit lighter. Just wipe that little bit of ink off that I had there, and I'm just going to line this up. And I will tell you that I don't know what it is, but I do struggle lining this one up. We'll see how I do. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right, so there's that one. And then we're going to color in the sails a little bit. And they have this stamp here that looks kind of weird. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to use, I pulled out, I just put my thumb in that. I just put my thumb in. Of course I did. You guys saw that real time. Okay. I'm gonna get the gorgeous grape, and we're gonna do the sails in the gorgeous grape. And I picked gorgeous grape because I'm gonna do the second generation stamp, and it's gonna pick up just some of that purple in the sky, in my faux sky. Okay, so I'm just gonna stamp off, and I'm gonna come line this one up right over here. I'm pretty good with the two-step stamping, but for some reason I do struggle with this set. Not too bad. It's not too bad. Did it? Not too bad. I held my breath. All right, now we're going to take our embossing folder, which is our hybrid embossing folder, and we're going to grab that die that matches that, and we are going to, I'm going to just pull my machine in real quick so that I can do all of this right on the machine. You can see this here. Okay, so I'm just going to take, this is a hybrid embossing machine, so hybrid embossing folder, so you do need the same sandwich as the three-dimensional, the 3D folder, because it is a 3D folder. So this one we're just going to take on this side that has the Stampin' Up! Logo. We're going to fit our die right on there, and it fits snugly in there. And then we're going to line this up. Now, obviously, I can't see that, so I'm going to flip it over with holding pressure on that die so it's not moving. I'm just going to move my sailboat around in there until I get that where I think it's going to fit best. Hold my pressure, put it down, and then just put that in and roll it through. Let's grab this now. And we have, I know it's hard to see, but it is embossed. So there's nice raised edges on that. And it's die cut for us. Now, you don't have to emboss it. You could just, where you stamped it, you could just use this die and just cut it out. All right, then I'm going to come in here with my sailboat, and I'm just going to grab mini dimensionals. I'm going to put mini dimensionals on the boot. Just put 3 of those on there. And then I'm going to put one down here in this corner of the sail and one down here in this corner of the sail. And I'm not going to put any others on there. Peel those papers off. Like that. Now, before I put this on, I want to show you with this card, this will fit in a standard envelope, and it will fit if you fold it this way down. It will also fit if you fold it this way down. I didn't like folded this way down unless you could add another piece of designer series paper here or, whatever. But to me, this looked a little bit wonky. So I put my sailboat on with it folded this way. So this is how it would be coming out of the card. So now remember there's a score line right here, so you can't put the sailboat past that, but you could put the sailboat anywhere you wanted along here. I want it to look like it's in that that area over here, so I'm putting it as close to the score line as I can so that I get it like that, like so. And now we have our card. So this is, I didn't put any sentiments on this yet. I don't know what this is going to be. And I am not putting any embellishments on it yet until I know what it's going to be. Now you can put You can put a sentiment up here in this area. You could put a sentiment in this area. You could put a little label down here in the corner if you wanted. Or you could leave it blank and you could just stamp something on the back. Obviously, you'd want to do that before you put the rest of the card together. But there's our card. So there is the pillar box step card. Love, it's got all of that dimension. So there's that. Let me move this aside here. Move some of this aside. Tell me what you think about it. Yay. So I did, using that same meandering Meadows paper, just using the other end of it, I did this card. Now this one looks like the ship it's more of a stormy day. And I just did, on this one, I did the Secret Sea, second generation on the boat and also on the sail. So there's those two there. You see those okay. And I did this one with a sailboat. So this is one where, so this was actually the first one I made. So this one is one, see, because I did blending here, I didn't have designer series paper to cover that little 1/4-inch tab, which kind of bothers me a little bit. But this one I did where I did the way the box step card is, just like this. And all I did was I just shifted the step down. So I still had this piece of card over here. But the problem was that if I folded it down flat this way, I had an extra like 1 1/4 inch piece of card over here, which means it would not fit in a standard card. So I put that in my trimmer, I sliced that off, and you can see there's a little bit of yellow up here from my blending from where it was going to be my sun. And this was just my sample card to work out all of the dimensions. So this, all I did was I trimmed off that piece and I actually put it over here on that plain piece of white, so that if it's folded this way in the card, it looks great. And if it's folded this way in the card, it looks great. So you could do either way like that. But I did not like that I could see that tab, which is why I went to the designer series paper instead of trying to blend a sunset. So there's that. And then I did this one using that birthday celebrations. But the same thing, if I fold it down this way, I would probably want to put a piece of designer series paper here so that it made the card look complete. But I would probably fold it this way and put a piece of designer series paper here on this side to kind of make it look complete. Like so. There was that one. And I used the pool party base. So because I used the pool party base, I would need to cut a piece of white cardstock for the back so that I could have my sentiment on the back there. And then I did this one. So this is one that I did instead of doing the, oh yeah, this is the one I did. I ended up having to reinforce this bridge piece because this embossing folder, it made the paper buckle and it didn't look like it had much weight. So there's that one. And I actually just made this one before the video so that I could play around with that. And this one too, I just wanted to mention this one, instead of putting the designer series paper on first, I put my bridge part on first and then layered the designer series paper over that to hide that bridge and make it look like it was just half the card instead of the whole card. I don't know. I mean, I just wanted it to look a little bit different. Oops, I'm not even hardly in the camera there, blah, like that. So this one, the bridge part goes all the way over to the end, but then I use the designer series paper to cover that up. So I suppose, look, it's not really, you could do it either way. like that. I really want it because I love this designer series paper. Love those colors because pool party. And then I did this one. I used the same designer series paper that we used here. And I just cut, I actually die cut these flowers out of some of that really thin foam just to kind of play around. My husband and I went to a store yesterday and they were having like a clearance of stuff. So I just, they had some of this foam in this purple and this green, which looks like the pool party. It looked very close to the pool party to me. Pool party. And then this looked like, oh, let me just look. Yeah, Highland Heather. The flower looked like Highland Heather to me. Yay. And then the pink looked like the Pretty in Pink, the pink foam. So I did that. So same thing here with the embossed piece here. What I did, this is the one where I said, if you don't want to have just the embossed, if you want to use your bridge piece and then put embossed layers over it, do your bridge piece and then cut separate pieces where you can, can't really, it's not really focusing, but cut separate pieces that you emboss and then adhere to your bridge. So that's what I did there. Now, also, I just wanted to mention, I went over this right here. So I wouldn't be able to fold this card this way to put in the envelope because this will not fit in the envelope. So this is one where I would definitely want to do it this way. But look at that. Isn't that, I think that looks so much better than that. So coming out of the envelope like that, what a gorgeous card. And you can put on this one because the element doesn't go up. You know, it doesn't go up and cover this. That's actually where you can put your sentiment. I love it. I love it. So this is just, again, I don't know. Did somebody do this type of card already? Maybe. But this is just something that I thought of coming out of the box step card because I thought that was really cool. And I thought, how cool would that be just to have that sideways like that? So let me know what you think. Okay, let me just, Louise says they are very cool looking. Thank you, Louise. And Lynn is saying they are fantastic cards. Thank you so much. I really had a lot of fun with this design. So I don't think I'm done playing around with it. I do still have to do, I did this card. I took all of the pictures making this card so that I could do the project sheet. But this one, I messed this one up. And I put my blueberry bushel on before my designer series paper. So then I just had to kind of cobble something in there and I do not like it. So I will have to make at least one more card so that I can do the project sheet for it. Yay. All right, let me flip to on my other camera so that I can say, oh, I hope you all have a great week. I hope you enjoyed this card. I hope that you maybe make this card. Make sure that I see some of those cards. And when I'm done with the project sheet, I will post over on my Facebook page that that it's done and it's, you know, that the project sheet's done. And when I post over on my Facebook page, if you've made this card, feel free to drop a picture of your card in the comments of that post. I would love to see them. So thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much. Yes, you're going to try it today. Oh, and I need to get that project sheet done so that I can post it because I want to be able to see your card. I also have not gotten to, oh my gosh, so the Mountain Majesties paper pumpkin. I still haven't, like I started working on that one a little bit, but I really haven't gotten into that one too much. And I haven't even touched my my June. I haven't even touched it yet, but I want to try this. I want to do the box step card in using those. Just kind of make some really cool designs with those paper pumpkins. So I think that will be one of the things I work on. over the course of this week. But yeah, so I hope you all have a great week. I hope that you all stay safe and enjoy your 4th of July holiday. If you're seeing any fireworks, just stay safe. And I will see you guys on Sunday next week. What is that? July 6th? Yeah, July 6th. July. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great week. And join me back here next week. And we'll do another great card. Bye.